Tuesday. It's time for some tea with tea on this Talk Therapy Tuesday. I'm Tanya McLean Nicholas, licensed marriage family therapist and owner of Renewed Hope Counseling. Someone was sweet enough to send me this pot, this teapot, and it says, "Tea is therapy." Hopefully, you guys can see that. And I absolutely love tea, clearly, right? And so they picked the right one. I'm going to pour myself some tea, my ginger tea this morning. But they clearly picked the right one when they sent me um, that teapot. So shout out to the person that did that. And for me, it is definitely therapy. Tea is therapy. It's funny how it's the small things that can be very therapeutic for you. For me, it's a cup of tea. It might be cooking. It might be dancing. It could be baking. It could be music. It can be any of those things. But hopefully, you all embrace those small things that help you find your peace throughout the day. So today, I wanted to expand on my topic from last week, the pitfalls of communication. And I wanted to add a few more pitfalls that can cause many couples to struggle in their communication and ultimately creating bitterness and disconnection. So you go ahead and grab your tea or your coffee, whichever you prefer, and let's dig in. Last week, I stated the two pitfalls as one of them being when someone is sharing their concerns, their feelings, even in conflict or discussion, to avoid responding with your own story. And secondly, I talked about avoiding responses that are trying to fix the other person or the problem. The reason why these are pitfalls is because this type of communication is void of validation and empathy, which creates disconnection. And sometimes it leads to bitterness. So this week, I have a few more, and they fall under what I like to refer to as fighting fair rules. And I give that a lot to couples. You know, couples fight, but do they fight fair? In communication, they're hitting below the belt. They're using what we call illegal uppercuts. So when it comes to the pitfalls of communication, I want to share these with you. The first one I believe is helpful, especially if in conflict, and that is bringing up more than one topic at a time. Please, please, please discuss one topic at a time. Issues or concerns that get off topic have a tendency to blow up. For instance, you might want to share with your partner how you may be feeling about something. And then the next thing you know, you're discussing five other things from the past that may or may not be relevant to the situation. I understand why people may want to bring up other topics because it may further validate their point or they feel it's related to the current topic. But in doing this, you're only creating an environment of defensiveness and distraction, which further takes you away from resolving any concerns. What couples find is their focus now shifts from the current issue to past issues, even to the point of forgetting what they even started off discussing. Because what happens is the original issue never gets resolved. And now both parties may be escalated in their emotions, never resolving anything. So discuss the topic on the table, find resolution, and then if there's something else that needs to be discussed, gently introduce it after or at a better time. Next, attack the problem, not the person. This can be done when you shift your attention to the problem behavior or problematic situation instead of the person's character. For example, a problem behavior. Dishes are left out on the counter and you find yourself cleaning them up. So you say, "Hey, dishes are on the counter and I'm finding myself cleaning them up all the time." Versus if you're saying you're always messy, you always leave it that way. You never clean up after yourself. Keywords that you do not want to use: always and never. It usually is not true when we say always or never. We begin attacking the person when we use degrading or shaming words like name calling to describe our experience of a person or their perspective. That's stupid. That doesn't make any sense. How could you even think that? You're too this or you're too that. You don't, whatever it may be. You also don't want to use language that signifies that a person should know better as a result of their age or their gender. You're a man. Why don't you know these things? You're whatever age and you should know that already. We also attack the person's character when we question or dismiss emotions, saying things like, "You shouldn't even feel that way." All of these responses lead to further disconnection. So we want to put an end to that. Finally, drawing your own conclusions and not understanding what your partner may be saying. This is common. And the reason is we tend to filter what people say through our own lenses of understanding that are usually shaped by our own previous experiences. Your partner may say something that may be difficult to hear or just strikes a chord, and immediately you go into defense mode or you begin thinking about what your rebuttal will be, while at the same time you're losing sight of their message. So don't get me wrong, it may be difficult to hear the concern, the issue, or opinion that your partner may have, but listening doesn't signify agreement. You're listening to understand their perspective and their point of view, which will validate them and it'll show empathy and draw greater connection. It can be difficult to say what's on your mind, especially in a way that accurately expresses yourself and is understood by your partner. Many times we assume that we're making our points clear, but in fact, that's not the case because sometimes your partner will have a totally different understanding of what you said than what you intended to say. Your partner may misread your tone, they may not even follow what you're saying, or they just may miss the point. This is why I've spoken in the past about the importance of the person starting the communication with I statements and your partner mirroring or using active listening. So you say something like, I feel, and you go on from there. And then your partner would be repeating back to you what they may have heard you say. So they say something like, so what I hear you saying is, it's a good way to summarize each other's point after a discussion. It also allows the person who was speaking to tell you if you heard them correctly or not. This shows your partner that you were listening and that you understand what they're saying. It doesn't mean that you necessarily agree. It prevents discussions from turning into full-blown arguments. Communication is one of the top reasons why relationships struggle. It doesn't matter if it's an intimate partner, a boss, or a friend. When communication is poor, it leads to misunderstandings, or worse yet, it will cause one person to shut down and not communicate at all because of the fear of rejection, disappointment, or judgment. When couples learn positive communication skills, they find the safety to be open and honest in their relationship, which eventually will feel greater connection. Our ability to communicate effectively takes time and practice. And by practice, I mean sometimes you succeed and other times you strike out. But the hope is that you learn from those experiences what works and what doesn't work. And you continue to move forward, attempting to do better in the future. Well, that's it for today. I hope that you enjoyed your tea with T on this Talk Therapy Tuesday. I'm Tanya McLean Nicholas, and I hope that you have a great day.